Good. All right, I have 8:01, so we'll go ahead and get the meeting started of the April 2022 Shenango County IDA Board of Directors. We'll roll call ourselves in.
Raymond here.
Ryan here, Zeno here.
Given.
Burton here.
Here.
Reading of the IDA mission statement. Our mission is to promote, develop, encourage, and assist in the acquiring, construction, reconstruction, improving, maintaining, equipping, and furnishing industrial, manufacturing, warehousing, commercial, research, and recreation facilities, including industrial pollution control facilities, educational or cultural facilities, railroad facilities, and continuing care retirement communities, to provide financial assistance and thereby advance the job opportunities, health, general prosperity, and economic welfare of the people of the county of Shenango, and to improve their recreational opportunities, prosperity, and standard of living, as approved March 24, 2022. Okay, need a motion to approve the minutes of March 24, 2022 annual meeting minutes, as well as the March 24, 2022 regular meeting minutes. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
Okay, can I get a second?
Second.
Any discussions or corrections? Hearing none, we'll vote.
Raymond aye.
Ryan, I. Zeno, I.
Given.
Burton, aye.
Seneca.
Financial reports.
I'm gonna, thank you. I'm just gonna, focus on the April report. You have March and April because we didn't meet last month, but if there's something in the March report that you have a question about, I'll go back to it. So under accounts receivable, note 1 is the financing lease, which, number 1 is the accounts receivable, which we'll go through in a second. The financing lease, number 2, is the Cascoon lease, which we are in the process of terminating that pilot, but that will stay on for right now until we wrap up that building. Under number 4, we have our accumulated depreciation amount of $621,560. Our total assets at the end of April are just over $1.3 million. I'll go over our payable list in just a moment. We do have that amount under prepaid rental income of $8,300. That is the deposit on the Protel building, as well as a $1,000 deposit on the potential purchase of Protel. As of the end of April, our total liability and fund balance is $1.3 million. On page 2, you'll see some accounts receivable. We have our Norwich Shenango solar payment that is still due, the annual pilot fee for 2022. If you remember, we did get paid finally on the couple of years that they owed, but now we're trying to collect on the current year. We also have Puckett Solar and the Tiffany Solar fees that are due. Those were billed, and we will reach out again to them to get those payments set. As you see, Puckett owes us just under $25,000 due to the way that we constructed their pilot agreement, and Tiffany Energy owes their $1,500 pilot payment. But we will continue to pursue getting collections on those. I don't know if we've actually received anything back from them. With Puckett, I know we were having some trouble even getting information back from them on their pilot paperwork. I know Barb's trying to reach out to them a few times. I don't know if the people have changed and the players have changed, but we'll drill down on that, and by the next month's meeting, we'll have a better understanding of where that is, but we'll continue to pursue getting those. They're gonna get a not nice letter from me soon if they don't pay. So technically they're in violation of their pilot by not paying these fees. So we'll use harsher language with our next letter.
They open operating yet?
They are still in construction phase, Puckett. Yeah, I think their pilot doesn't actually begin until next year, the tax benefit 2023. But because we enacted the pilot when we did, they still are indebted to us. So they're still in construction phase.
Carrie, just a simple question. Do we have we made it clear to them that when there is a change of administration or management that we need to be notified so that
It is in their pilot that they're supposed to notify us.
I see.
This is not the first time that a company has changed hands, and we found out later. We'll do the best we can to crack down on that. I mean, we do ask for them reporting every year. So if nothing else, by the end of the year, when we're trying to get our data from them, we should be notified about any changes, but they have not been great about that.
so they just
Yeah, no, it's a good question.
Carry along the same lines, is the companies, the businesses that we have the pilots with now, have they all reported their annual report this year to you already?
They have not.
Okay, so make sure can you document that well so that it was one of the audits
Yeah.
issues, so make sure that it's not in the audit issue again?
Yes, yeah, and that's a conversation we'll get more into when we work on a corrective action plan. Barb's been taking a look at their pilot language and making sure that, we use the appropriate language, have our attorney take a look at it, because, if they don't submit their paperwork to us, if they don't pay their pilot fee, they're technically in danger of losing their pilot, and I don't think anybody wants that. But we want to make sure that we push back enough that, we have some authority and we understand what our responsibility is and how far we can take that.
Thank you.
Good point.
Yeah. On page 3 is our list of age payables. So we have some legal fees related to NYS&W. We have the inspection fee, that was the $17.25 was for the building that we are purchasing in Bainbridge for the Everything Bagelry project. The airport utilities, which are getting reimbursed back to us until that sale goes through, and then our insurance payment. The late payment fee, I think it was a cross in the mail situation, and because when we have our meetings, when we get the bill, it was paid late, that's why there's a late payment fee. It was just one of those weird situations where we weren't able to get the payment done because of when our meeting date fell, and because we didn't meet, because of when the meeting date fell, so that's why there's a late fee there. I do have one note on age payables, and you'll see it, the first sheet inside the checks. Chair Burton will talk about it in a moment, but we do have an extra invoice in there for the inspection company. This is the company that inspected the Cascoon building that we're looking to offload. They didn't get us their invoice until the day we had already sent the packets out. And so it was a request that if you're willing to allow us to pay them now, we don't actually have the check printed, so that they don't have to wait till next month to get paid, but you can decide that when you do bills and invoices. Under our statement of accounts as of the end of April, so our year so far, we're holding pretty steady. If you look at year-to-date actual, our total revenues are $75,000, a little less than our budget number. That's with that better or worse than budget, but overall, that's just because of bills that we've sent out that we haven't received back, like the pilot payments. But in terms of revenue so far for the year, we're holding pretty steady. Everything else is pretty much in line. We do have to reallocate some of the travel training funds into a different line item. Some of those things are going to come under the line that you have for me for the presidential. The executive director. I can't talk this morning. Whatever that line is that we made for me. Anyway, we're going to have some extra fees with that as well. We have some training opportunities for both Jenna and Barb to do some training when it comes to economic development and IDA work. We're going to send them to Albany at the end of June to get basic economic development certification. They're both very excited to go. We definitely think it's a good use of their time. They've both really jumped in with the work that they're doing with economic development. So we definitely want to, if they are interested in that training, we want to get them involved and build that network. And that's an expense that is shared between IDA and DCC. But I'm going to move that under the executive director line just because it was an unbudgeted expense. So that number will change just slightly. And then again, the next page shows the airport maintenance, and again, we get that money back in. So we didn't budget anything for it because we're not the one taking care of the building. And at the end, total revenue over expenditure as of the end of April, it looks like we're slightly negative, but again, it's just because we have some money coming into us that we haven't received yet. And we also haven't closed on the 2 pilot projects, which was a pretty significant income that we were expecting this year that we'll get to in a little bit here, that those have still not closed. So we still don't have the revenues from those.
Just to back up real quick on airport maintenance, there was a water leak the other day.
Yes.
Outside between the well and the building. Wasn't sure how bad it was going to be. Protel contacted Ralph to come take a look. Unfortunately, it was only a seal that had cracked. So it actually only took them a couple hours to fix. So ended up being good news.
Yeah, I was a little worried when Tim texted me and said, we have a leak, there's water everywhere. It was like, what? But yeah, thankfully it was a quick fix. So. That's all, unless you have any other questions.
Okay. Need a motion to approve the financial statements?
I'll make that motion.
Need a second?
Second.
Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote.
Raymond, aye.
Ryan,
Zeno, I.
Given.
Okay. Bert, aye. Okay, bills and invoices. Again, Carrie quickly mentioned the $3,250 payment to Essential Home Inspections for 5 to 7 Scott Street. It wasn't included in the original agenda, but we'd like to get that paid instead of waiting until next month. So I'd like to add that to the bills and invoices. So if I could get a motion to approve the bills and invoices to also include the $3,250. So moved.
second,
Great. Any discussion? Okay, we'll vote.
Raymond, aye.
Ryan,
Zeno, I.
Given that.
Bert and I. All right, excellent. So we'll move on to presentations at this point. Our first presenter will be CR 14, Smyrna Solar Farm Project. And I believe we'll be turning it over to Kathleen Conley and is this Peter Dolgus.
Hi, good morning, everyone. So I'm Kathleen Conley. So I'm from Bergman, which is the consulting engineer, and I'm here with Peter from DRS, who is owning the project. So let me see if I can share my screen. Okay, and can you let me all know if you can see that?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So we have proposed a community solar farm that is 3 megawatts. That is right off of County Road 14, which you can see here. So this project is within the town of Smyrna in Shenango County. So we had reached out to Smyrna and then also the county and found that there's no building permit required for a site plan review from either the county or the town. But we are entering a pilot agreement for this project. So because there's a pilot agreement, we need to go through the secret review, which goes through the NDA. So that's why we're here today, not the project, and then hopefully begin that secret process with you all. So some specifics about the project. So this is a fixed tilt system.